Mutant.
It hasn't started yet,
Yeah, it has.
Oh. Okay, I'm wrong. Yes. You can tell we're scripted.
Mutant.
Truthslayer.
Back again. Oh, man.
Now we can talk about WWE for 10 minutes.
Okay, wait a minute. You start. I'm going to need a beer for this.
You go right ahead. Bring me one, too, if you would, please, sir. Okay, WWE. The big enchilada. As much as most of you want to sit there and say WWE sucks, it does suck. I will agree. It's not nearly as good, even though they do have a possibility, even though I think it's slight, to put on possibly pay-per-view of the year. This Sunday, maybe slightly, if they can pull at least 2 matches out of their ass.
Our editor is mad at us.
Yes.
He says we went too far. By the way, boys and girls, this is our FCC and editor, Beeble Brooks, and he said we went too far on Bill and Doug. We may have gone a little too far.
I think he should be fired. Oh, and by the way, Shinerbach, best beer in the world.
If you are of the age to drink, see, he's mad at us now because we're drinking too. Wait, go. Okay. Wait a minute. Hi, I'm Bob. This is my brother Doug McKenzie. Welcome to the Great White North. Today we're going to review wrestling, eh? So I think we should talk about this WWE shit, man. Bunch of fucking hosers.
Slightly. Anyways, as I was saying before I was interrupted, WWE is the big enchilada. The fact that they can put, even if they didn't put 80,000 at WrestleMania, they did put over 70,000 at WrestleMania. That, folks,
and it wasn't that bad.
Big fucking number. That's a big fucking number, and they're the only ones in the world that can do it. So
TNA has wet dreams about those numbers.
No, all promotions have wet dreams about those numbers.
Look, it is the big enchilada, folks, and unfortunately for us real diehard wrestling fans, it's the one that survived. I mean, it's kind of like the fast food wars and Demolition Man. All that survived was Taco Bell. Well, out of ECW, CW, AWA, WWE was the one that survived. And now they have all that loyal fan base, and they've been doing it for so fucking long that they can suck this fucking bad. You want to find some other sports fans that know how you feel, WWE fans? Go find LA Clipper fans. These people shell out a lot of money to watch the same shit over and over and over again. And you TNA lemmings, you WWE lemmings are just as bad. Now, like I've said, I want to see the WWE needs to do well. When it does well, then the rest of the business does well. There's a trickle-down theory.
The
only time trickle-down theory works.
If you're going to bash on the WWE, bash on the WWE. But realize the WWE is the wrestling business. I talked about that in my WWE.
Look, when you're paying your athletes that amount of money, when you're making the amount of money they make off their merchandising, their DVDs, their pay-per-views, their house shows, all that shit, they're making cash. They're making coin. Dixie Carter's trying to rub 2 pennies together to pay Pac-Man Jones and Brock Lesnar.
Exactly.
What, 1.1 TV ratings and $20,000 to $50,000 buy rates. But here's the thing about WWE. While it has this built-in base that will prevent them from going bankrupt in the next 5 years, that's for sure. Unless they do some really screwed up shit.
Yes.
Unless Congress comes down on them like they did on certain baseball players, or a certain quarterback.
Which I don't see, because I think the TNA basically said to Congress, well, the WWE actually isn't doing so bad because we don't have a drug policy, apparently, if you believe some people. Bill and Doug don't believe some people, but, what you going to say? What you going to do?
But back to WWE. It is the built-in base, and yeah, it has sucked. And here's one of the reasons why. The biggest reason why is business, okay? They are paying their athletes a lot of money, and when you make that kind of investment, you expect a certain amount of return. If you sink in $500,000 on an athlete, you're expecting them in wrestling. In hockey, $500,000 is fucking a nice 3-year contract for a pretty good defenseman. You know what I mean? So the WWE is expecting return on this. This is why you get the watered down wrestling.
Exactly.
This is why you don't get the high risk moves. This is why it is basically all ground and pound, because they don't want their athlete. We see that they get injured as it is.
Yes, exactly.
You could only imagine how worse it would be if they were to do the TNA stuff. TNA suffers a lot of injuries. Now, don't get me wrong. You got guys who will wrestle through injury. Maybe one of the most infamous
TNA,
is being Raven.
They're only doing, maybe. Well, let's say at the most they're doing 6 shows a month.
Whereas the
WWE is doing 6 shows a week. So there's a huge difference.
Can you say endurance, boys and girls?
Yes, exactly.
And if you're having to put on 50, I mean, the bottom line is if you're having to put on 15 matches, you know, if you're having to do 15 matches every single one of those nights, you sure in the hell can't be doing it if you're, you know, doing flying cross bodies and a whisper in the wind or twist of fate, whichever one JR decides to call it.
But at the same time, you have to realize that is a style of wrestling, and that can be enjoyable if they put psychology behind it, which the WWE is good about doing most of the time. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time.
Jeez, would that be a reference to Stephanie McMahon?
Yes, it would.
Hey, Stephanie.
I will join you in that. But
do us a favor, man. Do us a favor. Take your whore of a husband and both of you retire and let real people run this shit.
Like your brother.
Brother could run the shit. Brother can run the shit. But you know what's funny? I can just almost see I can almost see Vince McMahon bringing himself to tell Stephanie McMahon, look, honey, you suck. Darling daughter of mine. But I've seen, like, my sisters and their effect on my father. She just looks up at the bats those eyes, but Daddy. And it's just like Paris Hilton. Oh, okay, darling, you can ruin this show, I guess.
Well,
at least I've got Michael Hayes running SmackDown.
Exactly. And Dusty Rhodes running ECW. You know, which, explain to me how the two guys who are the most vocal against Stephanie McMahon get their own shows. They're both shows everyone, for the most part, likes that actually give
a lot
it a
better
chance.
Than Raw. That's
that'll give it a chance. You know, most people, you won't give ECW a chance, which I don't get.
Look, I understand. Believe me, as a guy who lived on the East Coast at the, at part of its height, I understand that it's. But I also understand that from the beginning they were telling you this is not going to be the old ECW. This is going to be the new ECW. Although I must admit I like Alejandro as a general manager.
It works.
The Latin hardcore tyrant. Well, rock on, homie, and hey, send me one of them Cohibas, dude. Seriously, man, don't hold out. I want a good Cuban cigar from you, man. Seriously.
Cubans are the best.
Well,
legally, I would know if they were.
Hold up. I can say that I've smoked a Cuban cigar legally in another country.
Yes, as if I.
And I've tasted better. The best cigar, if you really want a cigar to go out and buy, it's called, I don't even know if you can find the fuckers anymore. It's made by Gurkha. It's Gurkha Centurion Double X. They were originally made for the Sultan of Boondai or something, but if you can find one of those, they're $15 a pop.
Should be worth.
Oh, it is.
Should be worth.
It's like a porno, man. You have several orgasms before you're done.
Wow.
Wasn't that just too much information? Boys and all you minors, hide your eyes, close your ears. I'm sorry. I can see the kitten. He's shaking his paw at me. It's horrible. I'm in trouble. Oh, well. So, bottom line is, the WWE...
WWE does suck, but you need to realize
that it needs to do well.
That it does need to do well.
And because of business, yes, they have to water it down. They have to have ground and pound. They're paying. But
that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, but they need to get better writing.
Yes.
They need to drop a little bit more of the drama. Yes, the storylines get overcomplicated. A lot of times it complicates.
And John Cena needs to have something happen with him because he is stale.
And here's the thing. Here's my opinion, and this is not just mine. The guys from Live Audio Wrestling have said the same thing. What they need to do is they need to create crews.
Yes.
And then do this rotating of shifts of crews. You know, like 3 months, this one crew is basically working
Which
for
is
Raw.
what they did in the 80s.
Yep. One crew's working. Their story arc does the completion. They go away. New crew comes in. New storylines. Everything remains fresh. It's not brain surgery, folks. It's just
wrestling.
Professional wrestling.
It's not brain surgery. You know, the booking isn't hard. Nothing of it is hard.
There's a 13-year-old kid that RTK HBK Wrestling Guru 94.
Or I will add one, Bradmaster 13, him as well.
These are 13-year-olds. They know how to run this shit better than the WWE and TNA people, man. It's sad.
It's sad. It really is, because it's not rocket science. It's, keep the storylines basic, expound on them if you can, if you have writers that can expand on them, and that's it. That's all you have to do.
Till then, y'all, spark 'em. Peace out.
Later.